And hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button as I get ready for the live chat. I'm looking the wrong way. Okay. So, anyway, uh, we're back. Another season. And it's a Wednesday. But, oh, hey, Steve, you're already here. First up, way to go. And thanks, Todd, for coming by. It'll be Mondays after this. But today was the first day of training camp. So I said, hey, I want to be able to go see camp and then talk about stuff live versus conjecture on Monday. So I got a lot to talk about at today's practice. And then every Monday, 8 to 9 Eastern, if you're not a regular show, we'll be doing it pretty much, the whole way through. I think I'm going to take 1 week off on vacation, but otherwise, uh, I'll be here discussing what you want to hear with your Washington Commanders. All right, running down the news of today. Johnny Newton was a surprise activation. They passed his physical, and they're going to bring him along a little slower. He's not full go ready yet. But this is a guy that had 2 off-season foot surgeries, and nobody was really expecting him to be ready yet. And foot surgeries are tough on 300-pound men because a lot of pressure on that, So that was a good one there. And hi, Tim. Thanks for joining us. And then Effie Abada, no big surprise there. They put him on the PUP list. Don't really know when he's going to be ready on that. I think it's later than sooner on that kind of thing. Practice today was 80 minutes, which really surprised me. I was like, where's everybody going? Practice is usually 2 hours. Wasn't oppressively hot. It was a 9 a.m. practice, 77 degrees. Wasn't the usual humidity, choking around here, but I was surprised. But I tell you, what I noticed was they seemed better prepared. They did a lot of red zone work right away. And that surprised me because you don't usually get to red zone work right away like this. They had officials there the first practice. I haven't seen that before either. They had a crew there for that. I saw a few flags fly on that. Of course, it's not full pads, I think until maybe Tuesday. Crowds aren't there until Sunday. Going to be kind of a small thing, but they do have stands if you are coming to practice. They do have metal stands, so maybe you want to bring a towel with you when you sit on those things, maybe in the summer heat. But all practices are 9 a.m., so you won't have that 4 o'clock. Oh my God, burn my legs thing. And they have parking. It's pretty close walk down to the field from where you're going to park. It's not going to be a big crowd. They're not going to let in as many people as they have in the past. They're still kind of working some things around the park, like the new artificial field is now going to be a grass field. It's still dirt. I was surprised they haven't gotten farther along with that. But so they have other tents, in the way. So you're not going to be standing on a hill. You'll be standing, in the seated areas and all. So, which I kind of like versus standing there. But you get a good view of it all. So that worked out pretty well. The kicker, Ramiz Ahmed, made all 6 field goals today. And I know everybody thinks he won't be here come the fall, but hey, all the guy can do is kick what's in front of him. So he made 6 of them between extra point length and 40-yard out. So much for that. Let's see. What else can we talk about here? Okay, so that's the basics there. Let me get a couple questions and I'll come back. Let me just say one thing is many of you who might be new to the program again, there is a thanks button. It's that $ underneath the screen. That's basically a tip jar. And while I hate to sound like a whore, this is the end of a 15-hour day for me today. So to spend this kind of time with you guys, it would be nice to have people say, hey, Rick, thanks for spending the last hour of a 15-hour day with us. And all that we do. So, help support the program like LimeWire. Thank you so much. See, it's simple. It can be a couple bucks, $5, whatever. But, we all got to eat. And this was my 50th training camp somewhere, including, I grabbed my own helmet once. And I sucked at football player. I really wasn't a football player. I was a baseball player. But 50 camps somewhere, colleges, high schools, I'm not sure with this team, somewhere around 30 training camps. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and count. It just all melts together. So, all right. So thank you on that. Steve, get to the important stuff. Yeah, I know. Tressway's number still wearing 10. So, let me see. I got a new roster on here. So for 10, Tressway right now is wearing that. He has the burgundy one, and then the white jersey is Casimir Allen, the wide receiver. So, Casimir, I don't know if it goes well for you or not on that kind of thing, but that's what's going on there. Okay. When will the Commander Stadium have a new name on it? Gregory asked. That's a great question, man. I thought they'd already have that done. So I have not heard any word on it yet. I can't imagine they'll let it go because that's money left on the table if you don't. So I would expect it by the first home game, which is the last preseason game. So they have a little more time. Mike, a lot of players around the league are holding out like Trent Williams. Yeah, I saw that with Trent Williams. Made me laugh on that. It's like, okay, well, I mean, go get yours. But I just laughed when I saw it was Trent. Antoinette, do I think the kicker makes the cut? I think if he actually makes all his kicks in the preseason, why not? I mean, but unless somebody unusual comes along. But I know we always say, oh, late cuts, but you don't usually get a lot of great ones and great players in late cuts. You're not finding somebody's left tackles who they decide they want to just give away. What positional battles will stand out at training camp? Asked Todd. I do want to see receivers, how they, just Dotson, McCaffrey, which one of those gets number 2 on there. Of course, the offensive line, you want to see some of that. There's a lot. They're all over the place, to be honest. I mean, Mariota to me is the firm number 2. Coach wouldn't say it, outright. He didn't just say Jay Daniels is our starter. What he said was, well, there's no secrets here, but when the time is right, we'll know it. It almost sounds like someone's, sex ads that when the time is right, and use this product. I kind of laughed. It just hit me that way. So, Mariota got a lot of snaps today too. And then Jeff Driscoll, I have a new thought about Jeff Driscoll, which is, I mean, I don't think he's looked fine in all the camps this year. I would hold on to him as the number 3. I don't really see Hartman, ready. He could practice squad guy, maybe. Driscoll, you'd have to keep on the active or else somebody else will grab him. But to me, I would hold on to him as trade bait. Because somebody's going to lose a quarterback and they're going to need him. And Driscoll's has experience, can be a spot player. He's not your first choice, but he's not your last choice. And maybe you can trade him for something this season. Keep him there and just use it for trade bait. Something to think about. I did get to go to a media meet and greet with the coach and GM on Monday night. We used to do this years ago. I hadn't done it in quite a while. And usually first year is when they coaching staffs and all do it. On there. And Adam Peters' first comment to me was, hey, I tried out the restaurant you mentioned in your pizza video. I thought, really? That's how you're going to remember me, probably, a pizza video that I do. I do have a new one up about a machine on the street that sells pizzas. It was interesting. But anyway, Adam Peters hit me with that one. I just laughed. And when I was talking to Quinn, I love that players call him Q, like the Star Trek guy, which they probably don't know about. But he was talking about all of a sudden, he's talking about in Osaka, and I was like, wait a minute, I was in Osaka too, and he was part of the San Francisco staff, and it was an interesting perspective that I had not heard before from the other side, which was after that game, Spurrier was late to the press conferences, and I was there, and several other reporters from Washington were there, and we're asking, Mariucci questions from San Francisco because we have no one else, and then finally Spurrier comes in. Makes a lot of noise, yells for all his guys to come over there, and then crows about how his offense beat the 49ers. Of course, it was third stringers doing it. And I know Mariucci was really ticked about that. But Quinn told me, he said, yeah, the whole staff got really mad about, listening to Spurrier crow about that kind of thing. And they vowed when they met again, it would be a butt kicking. And it was a butt kicking. The 49ers beat them in September. That time. It was just interesting to hear from the other side of what I know from Mariucci, but not the other people. That was kind of cool. Okay, let's see. Tim, I found your suggestion that the Commanders could consider keeping Jeff Driscoll in the 53 and signing Hartman to the practice squad. Interesting. Well, thank you. I guess it depends on how each performs on a preseason. That's true, too. Just don't see Hartman making the cut. I don't know that his arm is quite there. But maybe. We'll see. There's a lot of time between now and then. Mr. Cool, any predictions on how well Daniels will do as quarterback? There's a lot of optimism, and I've seen what I like a lot is what I've learned over the years is the ball's not on the ground, which means he's hitting people, on there. I like that a lot, so he's on target. Has a good arm. I don't have any problems with his arm at all. He seems to be smart and anticipating, and he's learning. So I have a lot of optimism. I don't think he goes to the Pro Bowl his first year because he's a rookie, but I think that they made the right choice on that. Greg, would you at least a no wild card game would be a disappointment for this year? I think they could make the wild card if things go right. But, the one problem is you have that AFC North schedule. So they're playing, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland. I mean, they're playing a tough division. That doesn't help on that kind of thing. But I would not rule it out. Mike, have I ever gone to the Welcome Home Luncheon? Oh, yeah. I went to a number of them. I haven't gone in recent years, but I went to a number of them back when the team was good. And, there'd be literally 1,000 people there. And every table had a player at it because they, tried to make people pay real money, get some more value out of it. And they always put some guy they were going to cut would be sitting at the media table with us. We didn't know him. He didn't know us. He was going to be gone in a few days, and we all knew it. So I never got to sit by anybody good. But there was it was a lot of fun. The band came, played. It was definitely a good show for people. So if you get, they don't do it anymore, right? I don't think we do it anymore. The COVID thing broke it and all there, and things are down. But maybe it'll come back if they win. Suzanne, thank you very much. I appreciate you donating to the cause, which is to keep Rick eating. I do appreciate that. I was up at 5 a.m. to head to practice this morning. I can get to Richmond's practice field faster than I can to Redskin Park or Commanders Park, whatever we call it. Traffic in Washington is just nuts because I live on the opposite side of town. So in a way, I don't wish they would go to Richmond. It's faster. All right. Todd, do I think the Commanders should retire any more numbers? Yeah, Riggo. Definitely Riggo. Maybe Monk. But Charlie Taylor could make the same case. Charlie Taylor retired as the NFL's leading receiver. So did Art. And they've been passed. But Charlie Taylor could deserve it. He was a great player. But anyway, I think they're going to retire Daryl's on the Carolina game in October. So if you want to come, I guess they figured they'd have the crowd on that one, I think. Should. So Daryl will be retired then. But I would go Riggo because Riggo's playing the Super Bowl, among all things. Also the career-leading rusher for this team, despite not playing his whole career here. But that one play where he shed Don McNeil and basically won the Super Bowl, and that was the first Super Bowl, definitely set up this franchise to move forward and have the great decade that they had. And I go into that. So when they start doing statues and all too, to me, that statue gets made there. How did the tight end from Kansas State look, Bob? All right, Bob, say a name. I got 90 guys on a roster. What about McCaffrey? I didn't see a whole lot today. It was an 80-minute practice, and that included stretching and everything. So there wasn't a lot of plays today to really say, ooh, look at that. I thought Daniels threw a really nice touchdown to Brian Robinson on that. That was probably the best play of the day. But there wasn't a whole lot today, first day, to be able to talk about things like that. Todd, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Daniel, I'm doing very well, thanks. Fell last week in street. Oh, man. I clipped the ramp and boom, all down, on concrete. That did not help. And suddenly I looked down, I have a baseball swelling on my knee. That was great. Had to cancel a tour I was walking on. And, I'm not getting old and falling in the street for no reason, but DC sidewalks can suck sometimes. It happens. But that's the first time I've ever really actually, and it ended up not being an injury, but I'm still sore from that days later. But other than that, I'm doing well. So other than that, Mr. Lincoln, how was the play? Tim Benson. Okay, so he's talking about Ben. Okay, I didn't get to see anything of that today. There just wasn't that many plays. How did Diami Brown look? Again, can't tell you. I mean, really, how many plays were there? I mean, they did some 7-on-7s and all, and 11-on-11s, but not many. Maybe 10 plays or so. because a lot of it's still drills in that 80 minutes. There just wasn't that opportunity like a normal practice. I don't, we didn't get to talk to Quinn after practice. We talked to him before practice, which I kind of hate coaches doing, because then if you want to ask a question like, why was it an 80-minute workout? I got to wait till tomorrow. So it delays us finding some things out. Maybe that's why they do it. I don't know. Maybe they just want to do it first thing in the morning, get rid of us, kind of thing. I don't know. It's his style and his decision. Mike, they said they were working on red zone stuff today. Yes. So if you came in, and just so you know, most people watch this show for about 15 minutes in cycles. So I'll repeat questions because people weren't around before on there. They felt like they were advanced enough to be able to do it. It's important to them. And they wanted, I thought that was really good. And I actually have a video tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. talking about this, about how it shows they're better prepared entering camp, that they can go to a red zone drill on the first day. That was good. Usually you got to work your way toward it. Next year, they haven't proved this yet. There is talk of moving all the off-season camps to like the 1st of July, making July your off-season camp month, and then moving right into, the training camp. And that way players have more time off and all. I hate that idea, but that's a possibility. They could be doing like that too. This might be the last summer they do it this way. Don't know. And then, of course, 18 games is a possibility and all that. Greg, they are not joint practicing with the Patriots. So they're doing it at the Jets and at Miami on Thursdays of those weeks. And then Friday they're not. And then and then the last week is New England, which is the third preseason game. It's a national televised game Sunday night. And, normally your third game, we didn't get to ask Quinn this yet, but do you play your starters in that third preseason game? A lot of times they don't. And to me, this is your one home game. You think you'd want to give the home crowd a chance to see Jaden Daniels. And, of course, the national TV. At least, a series or two, depending on how many plays are in the series on there. Augustine asked about Cash App. So if we're talking about Venmo, if you'd like to donate to the cause, let me put it down here. Or let's see. I have an old AOL account that I use for PayPal too. So you can, if you want to donate to the show and not do it through YouTube, and you want to do it directly that way, that's great too. $5, whatever you want to do. And as long as we're doing this, you can also buy one of my books if you'd like. The 100 Things Commanders Fans Should Know and Do Before They Die. In case you haven't read the book, 15. Since we're doing the show, I'll tell you what, $15, and that's signed and shipped, which they raised postage the other day. It cost me $5 to ship it now. So, I'm not making much on this one, but I want to have fans read the stories. It's 100 stories. I wrote this book years ago, updated it for the Commanders. And so if you'd like it, make sure if you send it in there that your mailing address is with it. And I'll put them in the mail tomorrow for you. So it's $15, for that. You can use the Venmo or PayPal accounts, or just donate to the cause. I do appreciate that. Like I said, for those of you who didn't hear it, and I know you're thinking Rick's a whore, but Rick's got to eat. And this is the age of the new media, where this kind of stuff goes. So I appreciate everybody's support, because I worked since 6 a.m. I left at 6 a.m. this morning. So going to be the end of the 15-hour day I'm spending with you so I could talk live training camp. All right, Peter, O-line assessment. I will say in a little bit that we got to see, and you're going to really be surprised at me about this, but on the offensive line, Andrew Wiley, I thought looked decent. That would be a good thing, wouldn't it? But haven't got to see the other side yet. So we'll see. I thought the offensive line did okay, but I thought the pass rush did pretty well too. So even though they didn't hit anybody, but they got back there real fast, and that's a good. But then the offensive line can't, do what they do normally either. So that advantage, a D-line edge rusher versus an offensive tackle, the edge rusher has the advantage just because no pads and those kind of things, and what you can do. That's always an advantage to defense there. Greg, do I think they trade for a 49ers receiver? Gee, who could that be? And no, I don't think so. Don't think so. Augustine. So you saw my cash apps on that. Is it different doing media for this group opposed to Dan's? Um, is it different for the? If you're asking, is the media treated differently by the new groups versus what Dan did? Absolutely. I mean, we get treated with, at least respect as human beings versus the old days where we were treated like dogs. So, I mean that I think we get treated, fairly on things. I'm not asking anybody to carry me down to the field, but I don't like people chasing me with torches either, like the old days. Did not see Mr. Harris or Magic today, Bob. Really was very quiet camp. The only people that were there besides the media were family members of players, and I would say there was about 20 of them. And it was kind of funny. I saw two players holding their babies up for photos on the edge of the field, sort of like years from now, and your career only lasts so long, and eventually most players, their kids never really get to see them play. But they took a picture with I don't know if it was their wives or whatever, and the baby, and it's a great family photo on that. So they were taking those all the time too. So I'd never seen that before for some reason. Players are sequestered at the team hotel now. This year, unlike some past years, they're at Commanders Park, and there's a really nice resort. I don't know, 5 minutes away, 10. It's a really nice one. It's not like they're going to jail or Frostburg or something like that. But you spend the evenings there. It's team bonding, all that, and it's only for like 3 weeks. So, and they get days off during camp, so they can go over to their house and see the wife and kids and all that. But the families came, and I mean, I'm sure there were some rookies there, their parents that, hey, wouldn't you be proud if your son's playing in the NFL? I'd go to that practice. Any of my grandsons make it, I'll go to their practice. I went to my daughter's plays and all the stuff they used to do. So that's why you see family there. That's great to see. I mean, people are being treated better. There's, some nice stands for the fans. I think it'll be fine. It's close to the field, so I think you'll be able to be fine. There's restrooms there and all that. So, and it's the morning, so like 9 to 11, more or less, kind of thing. Parking for the fans this year is sort of right. They're not at the mall. They're not doing the shuttle this time, Bob. They're going to let them park in that field. The media lot's to the right of the entrance, but that big field to the left, it's nobody's been on for years. We'll have the cars there. And since they're not allowing so many people to come, I guess it'll fit. It used to be right. The Redskins Park was at the end of a road. Now it's just all part of a booming, Ashburn. So it's a little different than the old days where they could just take open fields and park everybody. And now those are there's a big internet server building there. If you ever come to Ashburn, it's like home of the monoliths. Must be 6 or 8 huge data centers. They say it's like 10 Costco's. Yeah, it's amazing. So, and the world's internet traffic goes through Ashburn. So we probably are going to glow at night or something. Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Interesting number. Someone said that Emmanuel Forbes didn't gain any weight and looks smaller. I would disagree. His calves are still really small. I thought his thighs looked like he had gained some weight. And according to the height weight chart, which just make sure they haven't changed that from earlier, Forbes is listed at 173 still, 6 foot 173. He was 166 supposedly last season. So if he gained 7 pounds, I can see where his thighs were bigger, wearing shorts. Kind of a weird thing to discuss, but his calves and all those are like sticks in the lower legs. But a little bit more, but he actually I would think he want to maybe get to 180. You don't get too heavy because as a DB, you got to run. So it's all about targeting that weight, in the muscle rather than just eating more at the buffet on there. Greg, I got a great location for a new stadium. Okay, let's hear what it is. Wait a minute, you took it back. I guess you don't have a new one on there. I don't think if I have to throw my money on the table now, boy, I've done this back and forth for a while. I think it's going to be in Landover. They'll build it next to the current FedEx or Commanders Field or wherever we're calling it. I think they're going to build it south of there toward the Metro side, if you know where that is. And then you knock down the old stadium for parking. I think that's where it's going. I think RFK has just got, The U.S. Senate's only in session like a couple more weeks for the year, really, till elections. And I'm not taking sides on this presidential election publicly. I'll just say if Trump gets elected, he's promised to take over D.C. and run politics and stuff and all that. Would he even get involved with RFK? I don't know, and I don't even have any idea what the other person would do, if anything. I just think RFK may just And then the other part is Mark Ein, who is a minority owner. He's like number 3, I think, in the list. Said on a podcast this past week that it might be 7 to 9 years for a new stadium. Well, DC, if they do get control of the RFK site, is not going to be willing to wait that long for a new stadium. So I just think it's going to be in Landover at this point. And I can't be covering this team, I think, 7 more years. I'll be old. But we'll see. Maybe I will. But I think it's for now. Don't even worry about the stadium, and don't worry about the name, because Ein also said they're not even beginning to worry about a new name. I always thought they would do it with a new stadium in conjunction. So we'll see. Let's see. Okay, so Scotty says they sidestepped the question about what would be a successful season. Well, yeah. I mean, I was talking to Quinn and Peters, and I said, you've done all the right things, but that doesn't mean you're going to win. And you kind of got a nod about, sometimes you do everything right and you still can't win games for a lot of reasons. So nobody wants to put a hanging number up there and say, we will win 10 games this year, because that's going to haunt you every week. So that's why they sidestep those questions. You just have to take them a week at a time. So Bob says, yeah, everything's changed a long time. Bob Baker used to be with the team long ago, so he's still a big fan. And I agree with you. I like how quiet it was too. But fans get to come, so and I don't get to come to every practice anymore because I do have other things to do, and this is my 50th camp, and so I don't have to be there every day anymore. But I will be there here and there. So if you get to be there, you can look for me down on the side of the field. I might be there that day. I may not. I just financially, I'm not paid as much anymore to be there every day, and that's a big strain. It's a long day. So you can follow John Keim and all the other guys who are paid to be there every day. I was for a while, but time moves on. So Mojo, how long before Terry, John Allen, and Payne are gone? No time soon. I mean, I think, John Allen has kind of bought back into things. They had a talk with him in the offseason. He was kind of disgruntled, never going to win. I get it. And they kind of said, listen, man, you're going to be part of a revolution here of rebuilding. So I think and Payne just kind of resigned, and Terry's got a little bit. So a few years, and then maybe their careers are done. Who knows? You don't play forever. Gregory, put it where the U.S. Air Arena was. Actually, you can't. So the U.S. Air Arena was also Cap Center, if we're talking about the same thing. And that is now a big hospital over there. Kind of just was built there a few years ago. So no room for it over there. Let's see. Mike said he used to stay at the old Xerox campus in Lansdowne. Yeah. So I think that's still where they are over there. Let's see. Bob says, I'll never leave. Yeah, I kind of wonder that too. I always used to joke I had a really serious heart attack at Redskin Park in 2002. And I said, I probably died, and this is my purgatory to forever wander the earth, watching losing teams. But maybe they'll win this year. And if they do, maybe the skies open up and I get to go. Who knows? Let's see. And Bob said, any word on the ditching the black uniforms? Now, I haven't heard a word. But I saw a number the other day. They only won 20% of their games wearing the black. So that's a jinx. Get rid of that. Yeah, Lansdowne. Okay, I thought it was Lansdowne. I didn't know there was any other one around there. Mojo, are they going to put Darryl Green's? Or am I going to the Darryl Green jersey retirement game? Well, I go to all home games. I don't travel anymore, but I do all the home games. And yeah, I'll be there. So it's Carolina, whatever date that is. Which I have that right here. What is it? So the Carolina game is October 20th. 4:05 start. Huh, wow, that's a weird one. Washington is now 3-point favorites. Washington's only favored in the advanced lines 3 games this year. -3 over New York in the opener at home, -3 over Carolina at home, and -1.5 over Tennessee on December 1st at home. Everything else they're the underdog, at least at this point. So go get your bets accordingly. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I caught up to you guys. Okay. So like I said, if you caught the show late, you can always see this. Go back and see the beginning of the show if you've missed it. As soon as the show's over, YouTube rewinds it, and then you can see it all. I don't know. It's red as I look on the screen. I didn't get sunburned today. I wore sunscreen. Weird. It must be the light. I was like, my God, I look red. So you can always see the show there, and then you can always donate too. That $sign underneath, if you'd like to donate to keep Rick solvent. I always appreciate that. Okay, what did you make of Dan Quinn in person? Mojo asked. I like him. I think he's he has a lot of energy, a lot of positive energy, which is great. He's a long-time NFL guy, so we were talking about all the places around. He's well traveled, as all coaches are. I mean, when you take a coaching job, you figure if I can stay here 4 years, that's good. Yeah, it's just the life. I feel for them. So if you get more than that, you've really been lucky. So I liked him personally. I think he gives people a positive chance to do what they do, but he's nobody's wimp, and he's going to be pushing this team hard. He said he wants to make practices more like game conditions. Let's go. Wasn't like that the opening day, but I think he's a positive at this point. We'll see what his coordinators do for him. Steve, maybe they'll wear their black jerseys with their yellow pants and look even more like the Steelers. Yeah, I mean, stay true to your own thing. This franchise has been around since 1932. They don't need to pretend to be somebody else on all this. Who would be a surprise cut player? Asked Ross. That's a good question. I've been thinking about it. I was thinking about that today. I'll bet there's probably 2 players cut that will surprise people. But that's why I was driving home. But I didn't get a chance to think about who the 2 were on there. So if I had to do it right now, if I maybe St. Just, we'll see how he does. But I could see, because this coaching staff has no ties to the last group. This is going to be the biggest roster turnover since 1945, just based on who they kept and re-signed. So this is going to be the biggest one. It's going to be like a 60% turnover people. So there's going to be some people going. And most of them are already gone. Maybe St. Just is the guy. If I had to throw one out there, and I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. If you ask, I'll throw that name out. Is Coach Q a screamer like Norv? No. And I didn't really hear the F-bombs except the ones I said. So, does he? I'm sure all coaches do sometimes. Sometimes it's how you get people's attention on things. So, but he seems like a decent guy like that. I've seen bad people as coaches. He's not one of those. Steve. Okay, guys. Steve. Tim. All right. Tim Quinn says he wants the team to play fast. Did they look fast today? Not really. I have to say that. I was a little surprised. But like I said, it wasn't a lot of time outside of drills to do that. But I thought it was good energy. Gregory, I like Jonathan Allen. Do you think he stays? Yeah, I think he'll be here for a while. I don't see him being a trade player. I don't see that. Like I said, I would keep Driscoll as a trade player. Make him number 3. You can't put him on the practice squad. Somebody else will grab him. But Driscoll's got enough game that if somebody loses their quarterback to injuries, they might trade for him. Maybe you can get something like a 3rd. Maybe. I don't know. So I wouldn't let him go. I think, and maybe you need him if you have an injury. I could see that happening. Do I see team in the playoffs by next year, Mojo? Yes, I think by year 2 they will be in. There's a puncher's chance they could be in this year. I'll give them some. You should be optimistic this time of year. People ask me about it. There's plenty of time to lose and be down on things. So at this point, I'll look at the upside in there. Okay, IQ something. Is Ramiz Ahmad the final answer kicker? Well, I was saying earlier, he made all 6 kicks today between the extra point to the 40-yard line. Looked fine. I mean, that's all he can do is make his kicks. If he makes his kicks in preseason games, yeah, I think he could possibly, make this team. I mean, nobody lets a great kicker go at the last cuts. So I would say he's got a fair chance. Now, if he starts shanking them, then, they'll get somebody else in here. Mike, what are the biggest characters you saw as a head coach? Remember Jerry Glanville and Buddy Ryan? Yeah, I got a Buddy Ryan story for y'all. I mean, I know he didn't coach here, but so Buddy Ryan, after he retired, became a horse racing owner, thoroughbreds. And he had a group stable down in Louisville, Kentucky. And I used to cover horse racing a lot. So I went down and spent, a day with Buddy. So Buddy says, okay, be here at 7 a.m. because, horse racing starts early, to be honest. They usually start 5, 6 a.m. I used to cover horses for years. You get up at dawn. And I get there and Buddy says, hey, can you walk this horse for me? Walk high. And I was around horses as a kid a lot. So, yeah, I could walk. You just walk around the barn. After horses work out, you have to cool them down. And you walk around the barn for like 20 minutes to let them cool down. So I did that. And he said, yeah, we'll talk. And then he said, hey, we just had one going to, foaling. So we're going to have a horse being born. Can you come by, help me out there? And I have foaled horses when I was a teenager, and it's gross as all, much grosser than human ones, to be honest. So I was hung in there with that. Didn't really do anything great, but I was hung there. And then Buddy says to me, hey, we're going to geld this horse. I'm like, oh, dude, you're on your own. I'll wait for you on this one. So I had to wait like 2 hours or something before I got to Buddy, maybe 3. And then we sat in his tack office all day. And for a while, then went to a sale and we talked horses, but we talked the NFL. And I said, hey, Kevin Gilbride thinks you sucker punched him. He wants a rematch. If you remember Buddy punching Gilbride, they were coaches on the same sideline. And Buddy was like, you did, huh? Well, I don't regret it. And I'd do it again. Where is he? And Buddy's like, I don't know, at that point in the 70s. That was kind of funny. All right. This show brought to you by my favorite. I wish they did. I like this Gatorade Zero. It's not bad. And it doesn't have all the sugar in it. So, love Gatorade. I've drank Gatorade. Just came out in the mid 70s when I was, playing ball. It was green. I don't even know if I see green anymore. And it wasn't the low calorie kind. It was, but we used to drink it and thought it was great. And if you know the story of Gatorade, it was made by guys at University of Florida, Gators, to help the players. Gatorade. Who knew? But that's how it worked. So I talked about Florida and Spurrier at this time. Good Lord. Mojo, would I make a Joe Witt? I did not really get to see him today. Like I said, short practice. But I like the times he's been around to talk to the media, I've liked him. He basically says, we're going to punch everybody in the mouth and last man stands, and hopefully it's us. We're going to be the ones. So I like that. I mean, defense, that's what you do. That's what Greg Williams did. And Greg Williams was a disciple of Buddy. So when he read my Buddy Ryan story, he says, he sent somebody, said, can you get the phone number for Buddy Ryan? I said, yeah, tell Greg to ask first. Ask for himself. Since he was being a jerk sometimes in the media, I thought, you want that number? You come to me, I'll give you the number. So paybacks. Steve, thank you so much for chipping in. Do appreciate it. Bob, the lime Gatorade, yeah, it's still around. It looks a different color though on there, but I do like I like Gatorade fine. It beats drinking out of sodas and all that. Okay, Mojo, did I know Kamala Harris went to Howard? Yes. Yep. Since I live in DC, yeah, I knew that one. They're proud of it. I don't know if she wins, but anytime your university puts up a presidential candidate, that's a big deal. Maybe she would, put some money in Howard. Howard can always use the help. Howard was created as a school for Black Americans by one of the Civil War Union generals. His last name was Howard. That's why it's named Howard University. Another time back in the Civil War time, Abe Lincoln started first school for the deaf, which is Gallaudet University in Washington. Gallaudet starts the football huddle because the quarterback would be doing the hand signals, doing sign language to the other players. So opponents would have somebody that could read sign language and say, okay, they're going to do this. So Gaudette's quarterback told everybody to huddle and circle around him so the other team couldn't see it. And that's how the huddle started. That's a true story. And if you even go to Gaudette games even now, they have a guy on the side who hits this drum, boom, 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 as the snap count, because the quarterback can't yell out the snap count because all the players are deaf, so they can't hear him, but they can feel the drum beats. So it's like on the third drum beat, boom, 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 so that they still have that. There you go. Little football trivia history. Okay. Do I remember the glass jars of Gatorade, Mike? Yeah. Yeah. Now it's all plastic, which is better. You don't break them on there. They used to have the big ones too. They never had a little one like this in the old days. There were those really big ones. And I don't even like the little ones either because I can drink this in 2 breaths. Some of you may have seen my video where my 9-year-old grandson, Oliver, challenged me to a root beer chug contest the other day. And I beat him. But it was like one of these small root beers. It wasn't a 16 ounce. So that actually got a lot of views. And my grandson Oliver loves being on YouTube. He wants to be a YouTube guy when he grows up. So I hope he doesn't end up like me. But that's on my channel if you can look at the back videos if you want. Greg, do you think Washington Commanders could be this year's Houston? Not sure they can get to that many wins, but I think that they can definitely make a big improvement. I mean, last year the team gave up. We all admit it. They lost their last 8. They just didn't care anymore, especially the defense just couldn't do anything. So this team is definitely going to be better. I think they've got – I wanted to say I thought they could win 9 games, which is close to Houston. But, man, look at the schedule. I say 7. So maybe steal a game or 2, Maybe instead of all these years where the ball bounced against them, maybe the karma's coming back and they'll have it this year. Never know. That's the great thing about football. You can steal a game, especially early. Just don't start 1-6. Let's not do that. But I think they can, if they get a little luck, I think they'd be okay. All right, I got 20 minutes left. And, okay. Let's see. Oh, I caught up to everybody's questions. Okay. If you can, hit the thumbs up button, if nothing else. I know everybody doesn't want to throw in money at me, but if you hit the free thumbs up button, the algorithm is happy when you do that. And for those of you who came in later, the live show will be on Mondays, 8 to 9, pretty much weekly. I'm going on vacation, I think, one Monday in August, so I'll probably miss that one. And I don't know. It's hard to, I think we did like 25 in a row last year during the season. It's not easy to always do that, especially when you lose every week. But anyway, I made it today just so we could talk about first day of camp, even though a lot happened. What was training camp like during Joe Gibbs' era? I asked Mojo. I did some of those, not as many, but they were pretty organized. By the time I did it more in the later part of Joe's time, and so he had it down pat at that point, and everybody kind of knew what they were doing, and it was pretty well run. They didn't beat people up as much, but they were more physical practices just because that's what it was like in the NFL back then. Now it's really not physical practices hardly at all. Used to be like Marty Schottenheimer did his own Junction Boys summer camp. They did full pads twice a day, every day to the day they left camp. That's against the CBA anymore. You can't do that. Now you can have pads. You have to do like 5 days before you can put on pads, and then you can only do it once a day. And then in the afternoon, they do walkthroughs. So practices are not nearly as tough as they used to be. Does that lend to more injuries? Does it lend to worse tackling? Probably, but I'll have to say that I've seen practices and coaches go every which way you can do it. Hard ones, like Marty's, twice a day, every day. They started 0-5. I've seen Zorn have, Club Med, and it opened 6-2. So it varies. There's no one way to do this. Just like lifting weights, I've seen strength coaches who are like, here, we're going to pick up refrigerators and carry them around. And then other guys are like, no, we're going to do 50 reps. Which one works? Nothing in particular. It's just what's for you. What record gets our toes in the playoff door? Asked Greg. Well, maybe you could get in with 8 wins. I don't think you can get in with less than that. It's a 17-game schedule now. So 8 wins could Might grab you one if you get the tiebreakers and all that. Who was the biggest trash talker you ever saw? Mojo Daddy. James Washington. Boy, that name came out of nowhere, huh? Safety back in the mid 90s, like 95. He talked so much trash that one day he got in a fight with Sterling Palmer. They're both defensive players. It's the only time I've ever seen two guys on the same side of the ball fight each other, but he was just tired of James talking stuff. So your own guys beat on you. That's really saying something. Man, that came out of nowhere. That's another neuron I lost for you guys. Okay, so you can always hit that thanks button or the thumbs up or something because I just gave away one of my last neurons. And as we always have new people on, if you want to get Commander's book, $15, signed, sealed, and shipped, that's a bargain. You can go. I have the info up there on Venmo and PayPal earlier in the comments. You can run up there and get them, and I'll ship them tomorrow for you. Sign it. So it has a lot of great Commander stories. If you're a big fan of the team, this was I spent 500 hours on this book when I did it years ago, and it's updated with 5 Commanders chapters, which means it's 95% Redskins. So I know a lot of people are like, I only do Redskins. I don't control life, but that's what's in there. Mike, I did a job for Steve Spurrier, and he told me they needed to go to practice at FedEx because they were losing there all the time. He wanted to practice there. The week later, they put everyone on a bus and did a practice there. I mean, sometimes coaches do that right before the first preseason game so that they just kind of walk through the facility. Players know where the locker room is, especially this year. You know, where's the locker room? Where's everything at? Just to kind of get that out of the way. And so sometimes they often will do a practice there for that reason and let them go see around, see the stadium, that kind of thing on there. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so we're hitting the down stretch here. 15 minutes to go. Not as big a crowd tonight as I thought. All right, well, it's still vacation time too on everything. Hopefully, I'm going on vacation one of the weeks they're away at scrimmages, so I only miss like one practice. Go with the grandkids, go have some fun. I haven't been on vacation in a while. And I'm going to Las Vegas in September. The week they play on Monday night against Cincinnati, I'll go the previous week so I don't miss a game. But I'm going to get to see the Eagles inside the Sphere. Maybe I'll do a video from there or something. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been to Vegas in a number of years. I hear they still gamble there. So I like to go to Vegas just to try and there's a lot to do in Vegas besides the casinos. A lot of great stuff in the area. All right. Any last questions? You guys might be done early if you don't have any questions. Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, you can always and remember to have videos up at 6 a.m. and usually around 5, 6 o'clock in the evening too. 2 a day. Have some new pizza ones lately. Went to Gordon Ramsay's new place in DC downtown. It was okay. Wasn't my favorite. I am going to do 3 viewer tours, I guess I should say. I'm a tour guide in DC. I'm licensed. Just took somebody around yesterday, watches the show. So thanks for coming. But if you want to go on tour in DC, if you're in town on vacation, hit me up at my website, monumentalthoughts.com. It's monumentalthoughts.com. And we can see about doing a tour. But I'm going to do some public ones in September and October. We're going to do Embassy Row, Lincoln Assassination, and what's the other one? Embassy Row, yeah, Lincoln Assassination, and another one, I forget. And anyway, we're going to do all that. It's going to be on. I'm going to make the official announcement on how to do it. But basically, we do a 90-minute walking tour, and then we go to a local pizza place and talk Commanders and eat pizza. And I'll do a Q&A for a while, and everybody eats pizza, and and tickets will be like $25, so they're not going to be much. And I'll hold it to like 20 people, so it's not out of hand. So you get a piece of me on that. So I do a lot of tours. There's some Smithsonian's, things like that. So I'll be announcing that soon, maybe in another week. And we'll start out 2 in September. Gosh, I can't remember what I'm doing. Embassy Row and Lincoln Assassination, I know for sure. Now, I know. I think we might do Georgetown. I haven't decided. Okay. Let's see. Is ownership more hands-on with this team than rumor with Snider? Asked Greg. No, I would say that they hired people to do their jobs, and certainly the business end they're involved in, but football end they are not. No, Josh Harris is not picking anybody or any of that stuff. Nate, thank you so much. Yeah, stay safe. I don't want to fall again in the street. Where am I going for vacation, Mike? Massanutten, if I said that right, Virginia. Some cabin, big cabin thing. My daughters, who are grown, pick this up. I'm now the grandparent who comes along. I just had a birthday the other day, so I'm in my 60s. I let my grown daughters take the lead on these things, and we go and get to spend time with the grandkids more, stuff like that. I have four of them, and they're old enough to play ball and stuff like that. So we're having fun. I have two grandsons, two granddaughters. So we're gonna just go hang out. Okay, we got 10 minutes to go, supposedly, of the show. And let me see here. Let me put this last one up. If you have a question, go ahead and ask. But I'm going to look for something real quick. And if you came to the show late, Effie Abada is on the PUP list, but Johnny Newton is on the regular list. You can now practice. So that's pretty cool. Oh, there it is. All right. So if you would like to donate to the cause, you can always do the $ underneath. But if a lot of you who watch on the X or whatever, you can contribute Venmo or PayPal. Make sure you watch how you spell Snider. So there's another Richard Snider who sometimes receives my money, and I guess people get it back from him. I don't know, but whatever. Thank you, William. Appreciate it. So if you want to contribute to the cause, you can do it that way. I get the money more directly. Or if you want to buy one of the books I mentioned, some of you like this one. This is another one I put out recently, Presidential Pours. And it's about every president and their favorite drink. It's not a real big, long one, but it has a lot of their favorite drinks and a little trivia on the presidents. Well, I updated after this year. Maybe. I don't know. $10. I'll do it. $10 signed, sealed, delivered. Use the Venmo or PayPal. Make sure you have your address on the thing. And this is $10. So buy them both for $25. I'll do it. I'll mail them tomorrow, signed. Or you can go to Amazon and get them if you don't trust me and you want to buy them from them. Go ahead. I just won't sign it because I can't. Gregory, do I think training camp ever gets moved to Miami because Josh Harris is living down there? No, and part of that would be regional rights, that you can't take a team to another team's neighborhood and do it. And I know that because like the Raiders aren't training in Las Vegas because it's 1,000,000,000 degrees there. They're training in Southern California, but they can't have fans come to camp because they are infringing upon the Chargers and Rams territory. So if they come there, they can't do anything, and nobody wants to do that. So they won't go to Miami for that. Plus, Miami's hotter and blazes in August. Oof. I love Miami in January, not August. I've had a chance to talk to, who is this, Bob? Something's in the way. I can't see it. Is he? Oh, he must be talking about Bubba. I haven't seen Bubba yet. Or Al, if you're talking about Al, maybe. I haven't seen Al yet either, but today's first day. Today's first day. I can see a little bit of things today, but can't see everything today. Okay, let's see. Okay, Mike, you want to buy presidential pours? Like I said, let me just show it to you again. $10. Use that Venmo or PayPal, and I'll send it to you tomorrow. Do appreciate it. Like I said, it's like, let's appreciate Rick working all these extra hours for us. So you get to buy the book. That's cheap. $10 is cheap. It's usually 15, and I'm throwing in the shipping and handling for you. So that's like almost $5. So I'm making, after printing, I'm making $1 or $2 off that book. So just for rewarding my faithful viewers here on there. All right, last few minutes. Ask your questions before we head out of here. Hit the thumbs up button before you leave. If you have missed any of the show and you care to go see the rest for some reason, once the show's over, it'll recycle back on YouTube. I have my videos at 6 a.m. And at 5, 6 o'clock, depends on how, what's going on. If I'm waiting for news or something. um, every day. And most of them are commanders, but occasionally there's nothing going on. I'll do something else. Lately, I've done a bunch of pizza and stuff, but that was just killing time till camp started again. So we'll see. Boy, it bugged me. I can't remember the third tour that we're going to do in September, October, but you'll hear about them. They're Saturday. There'll be Saturday 10 a.m. tours for Lincoln Assassination. We walk a little, but we end up at Ford's Theater and Embassy Row. We end up at a nice pizza place around there. Oh, I know the other one. The other one is Old Town Alexandria, which is a great tour. And we're going to do Bugsy Watson's bar as the pizza place. Bugsy, for those of you old timers, Bugsy was the enforcer on the Washington Capitals when they first came to town in the 70s. He was the guy that sent out on the ice to beat up everybody. And sadly, Bugsy died about a year or so ago. But his restaurant caught on fire, which was crazy too. But it's back. It's all back. It's right there on King Street where all the fun stuff is. That's a great fun tour too. So I'll be announcing all those coming up. Probably maybe Monday night show. We'll talk about it. Okay, Tim, what do you think of the upgrade to the Players Lounge and team meeting rooms? Well, I don't get to see those, so I can't tell you. They don't let us go wandering there. How's the garden going? Asked Mike. Not good, man. We had a drought for about 6 weeks of no rain. And, even watering doesn't save everything. So I lost my melons, lost my watermelons. The sunflowers did okay, but really took a quick dive. And we've had a lot of rain in the last week here, but it's kind of too late. Grass is doing great, though. I'll say that. Who was your favorite Clinton Portis character? Asked Scotty. Oh, man, that was Clinton Portis used to dress up as somebody different every Thursday. Sheriff Got to Get You. That was a good one. Southeast Jerome was one. God, he did so many of them. It's hard to say. It's like picking your children, favorites. But he did do a lot of great characters. It was fun. Is the Baltimore game here? Well, no. Baltimore game is on the road, which is only 40 miles from FedEx. But, you got to go up there with Ravens fans. So. And there's actually a train stop. If you take the MARC train from D.C. area, like Union Station, there's a MARC train stop right there at M&T Stadium for Baltimore. It's like, I wouldn't even say it's a 5-minute walk to the stadium. It's right there. So if you can't get parking and want to deal with that crap, you take the train. That's a nice, easy one. And the Baltimore, you guys hit me up. I don't remember the schedule like people do. That's October 13th, 1 o'clock game at Baltimore. Ravens are 8-point favorites at this point. I remember the next few games, and that's really all I can remember. Players are like that too. Why bother learning 17 games in a row? Brandon, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And we're down to the last few minutes. So I know you've been holding your money back till the end, but if you want to hit the thanks button, you can, or you can donate to the Venmo or PayPal accounts. And I haven't seen anybody do that yet tonight. So, it's okay. I worked 14 hours today. I could do one more for free for you guys. Hey, that's kind of bottom line. I always say we got to have some money come in, or else I'm just wasting my personal time doing it. If I'm doing it for you, got to do something back. That's how the world works. Jaden reminds me of Lamar Jackson. Well, I don't know, Greg. I will wait a little while before I say that. But if he turns into another Lamar Jackson, great. I think Jaden it's like RG3. RG3 didn't get hurt. He had a great career, but he got hurt. So you need a little luck in life there too. But I think if Jaden stays healthy, I think he can be something special. How special, we'll see. Let's let him play a preseason game first before we send him to Canton. All right, last questions before we get out of here, because I'm getting tired. That's good. There he goes. Thoughts on the secondary? Asked Brandon. I think it'd be better. I think Chin's definitely going to help him on there. And then you're going to see what coaching can do to St. Juice and Forbes more than anything on that. So I think Quan Martin looked a lot better at the end of last season. So maybe that carries over. So they won't quite – I don't know if they have the pass rush that they quite had last year. Of course, last year's didn't turn out as well as they liked, and then you had midseason trades of Sweat and Young. But I would like to think it'd be better. You'd like to think they won't be running wild through the secondary of this team. Jeff, if you had to name the top 5 Washington quarterbacks of all time, who would be 4 and 5? Blah, I'm not answering that, man, just because I couldn't tell you. But let me see. I have a list that I keep in my computer of all the quarterbacks who started since the last Super Bowl, and I ranked them. So I guess we could do it that way, just since the last Super Bowl. Okay, that's the rankings here. All right, my number 1 was Rippon because he did play another year or so here. Then I had Brad Johnson 2, Kirk Cousins 3, Alex Smith 4th, even though he didn't play a lot of games, but a lot of guys didn't play a lot of games. So Alex Smith was 4th, Trent Green was 5th. Finishing up Jason Campbell, RG3, Farrat, Burnell, Heineke, I made 10. Where will I put Jaden Daniels on this list? Got a while to decide about that. Who's at the end of the list? And if I have it right, let's see. So Jaden will be the 36th quarterback to start since the last Super Bowl for this team. My last place one is, come on, you know this, Beck. All right, go on, it's got to be Beck. Sanchez is next to last. Fitzpatrick I made just above Sanchez because he only played 20 minutes, so put him down there. Haskins is down there, Werfel, Keenum. I mean, it's a let's just say that list gets really ugly really quickly. So there you go. You didn't think I could pull that out of my head, rear pocket, did you? Is Quinn an upgrade from Rivera? Well, we all liked Rivera, Greg. I mean, I liked Rivera fine. I respected him. But Quinn is going to be an upgrade as a coach on there. Do you think they blitz a lot to compensate for not having a least pass rusher? Smack City. I think Jamin Davis is going to be blitzing a lot more than you might think. And I think that's a good thing because he's better at that. Sure can't cover a tight end coming out of the backfield. But I was listening to Jamin talk today. Had sounded like a man that had a lot more confidence in himself. So maybe he's ready to go, after these 3 years. I mean, he's gotten better every year. It's just he was not the first round pick that people thought he would be. And with that, we are done. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks for coming. I'll see you again soon. Ta-da! What can I say? We're out of here. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Steve's with me every day, every thing. So I appreciate Steve coming. All right, everybody. I'm going. The 15-hour day is over.